All right, I'm going to call this meeting of the House Higher Education to order. And we have one bill on the agenda, and Senator Butterworth is here to present Senate Bill 161. Senator Butterworth has another very important committee to attend even as we speak, and so in order for that committee to have a quorum, he was going to have to slip out shortly. But Senator, please come and present your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Coming to talk about Senate Bill 161. Senate Bill 161 basically formalizes the process of the college and career academies in the state of Georgia. As you all probably know, there are 23 college and career academies across the state right now, and the way that they have been set up basically is because local communities have indicated an interest in having these organizations and having specific areas addressed in the higher education communities, the technical college communities, and so due to other forces, the Lieutenant Governor has been a strong advocate for these college and career academies. They have moved forward. What this bill does is it takes that process and it formalizes it. It's as simple as that. The bill is throughout the bill there are not shalls, but there are mays. There are voluntary curriculums that teachers can participate in. There are voluntary processes that the different organizations that will be involved will participate in, and creates the Office of College and Career Transitions. That's the actual name of the office. I will tell you that currently that office would consist of one person. That person is already a state employee, and there are funds available in the budget right now today to have that represented. To have that continue to function, but simply in a more formalized manner. The collaboration, that this effort brings would be between the State Board of Education, University System of Georgia, Technical College System of Georgia, and other not-for-profit post-secondary institutions. To the end, the goal would be professional development, curriculum support, and development and establishment of college and career academies. And the ultimate goal of these college and career academies would be to increase the graduation rate, to address needs of specific areas in communities that have specific needs for different industries, and it gives them the flexibility. It has a partnership with private entities, whether private individuals or organizations that function throughout the communities across the state. So flexibility is the key, and I think formalization is the other part that is the key. Mr. Chairman, having said that, I do want to include that I would appreciate the committee considering this bill. It has come to my attention, as it did just prior to the vote in the Senate Higher Education Committee, that the Board of Education had some issues with this bill. We addressed those interests and the things that they indicated as problematic. We amended it 2 times in the committee, in the Higher Education Committee, in the Senate. In the committee, we both changes that they requested, we amended. I now find out that they have concerns. That was a week ago that we passed that out of, just prior to the crossover date. Maybe it actually been over a week ago. Find out now that they have continuing problems with the bill. I have no idea what they are. So I do want to indicate those things to the committee and to you, Mr. Chairman. I would appreciate a vote so that we can move forward. Be happy to work with the Board of Education, but I certainly appreciate your interest.
Thank you, Senator Butterworth. Are you available for any questions?
Absolutely, yes, sir. I'll stay as long as you need me to.
Okay, good. Any questions for Senator Butterworth today? Yes. Are you 22? Okay. Okay. Okay, Representative Carter, you're on.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senator Butterworth, can you tell me the graduation rate for students who attend the career academies?
No, I can't.
Okay. Just wondering. Do you know that number?
Sure, and Mr. Chairman, I will tell you that I did bring General Counsel for Lieutenant Governor. I was told that I need to come before this WISE committee. I need at least one attorney to be with me. So I do have at least one attorney that is a really good attorney. So she may be able to answer that better.
Okay, good.
Irene.
Now this is to the question of graduation. That's correct. Okay.
We know that the statistics show that any dual enrollment students in the biggest portion of college and career academies, there's a huge push on dual enrollment. And we know that dual enrollment students, there's a 98% graduation rate and 100% either job placement or post-secondary rate. That is not only with career academies, that's dual enrollment as a whole. But again, because most of our college and career academies have the huge focus on dual enrollment, it is very successful across the state.
Okay, thank you. Representative Allison, I believe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senator Butterworth, I appreciate you bringing this bill. It seems to me, and maybe I misread this, that most of the power to grant or to approve an application is in the breast of the State Board of Education. I mean, they're going to have total control over whether an application gets approved or not. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, and that is a result of some of the amendments that we made in the Senate process, Representative Allison.
One last question. The one thing I did not notice, is there any type of appellate process if a school was to be denied? That I don't see anything in that language that says that they have a right to an appeal or someone else to review it?
The main point there, main point there, Representative Allison, is that through the charter process, that's all we're really doing is creating a charter process and formalizing that. Through the charter process, there is an appeal that can go again through the State Board of Education and whatever the steps may be.
Then it seems like one last question, Mr. Chairman. It seems like according to line 88 that they specifically say that no money is to be released to these charter schools until such approval is met by the State Board.
That's right, Representative Allison. There is.
Representative Gardner.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I know we are all interested in getting as many young people into job training as early as we can, so I applaud this initiative. As I understand it, we're simply formalizing the existence of an existing program. And the key, I guess, as we formalize a process is what the ongoing costs will be. And, you know, it's curious to me that there is this last-minute concern. I assume it has to do with money, since it usually seems to have to do with money. But these groups, I mean, both the regions, the technical colleges, and the Department of Education have been working collaboratively on this effort. Is that correct?
That's a true statement, yes, ma'am. And actually, the governor's proposed $10 million for the ongoing career academy proliferation throughout the state, and this would simply serve that end.
Is that an adequate amount to do what we are formalizing in this system?
Yes, ma'am. I would say that it is, and WISE counsel says that the House has already approved those funds as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I applaud you for a great effort.
Thank you, ma'am.
Chairman Dr. Amerson.
Thank you, sir. Today I feel sort of like an idiot because I don't understand.
The man with a PhD is not an idiot.
Thank you. Two of my counties already have working relationships with Lanier Tech. Their people teach in our high schools. I'm trying to figure out what the difference is, because their teaching in the high schools don't cost the high schools anything, one, and two, it's not costing the Hope Grant anything. In terms of the students, if they get a dual enrollment, they don't. We changed that a couple of years ago. That doesn't cost them anything. So will you explain to me what this is as compared to my high schools who are already working with technical schools? What
I will tell you, Mr. Chairman, is that you have a strong advocate in your areas.
That's me.
And to my point, for the high school students, for the colleges, for the high schools themselves. Some folks across the state, not a reflection on anybody in particular, might not have that advocate. This creates a vehicle for communities that aren't familiar with the process that you're talking about, and streamlines it. Where do you pick up the phone? What number do you call to create an avenue to higher education like you're talking about? You call the office that we're creating that is a collaborative effort with all of the different organizations that are going to be working together. And Ms. Munn may have something to add to that.
Let me add, every community is different. Every community, these are based upon the needs of that community. And if it doesn't make sense to establish a college and career academy, then you don't do that. But most of the model college and career academy is where one building where students can choose to go there, usually feed from 2 or 3 high schools. So a school system realizes that one location with state-of-the-art training is better than repeating it in 3 locations. Also, because of the partnership with post-secondary, those buildings are used from 7 o'clock in the morning until 9 o'clock at night because you have adult learners as well as student learners utilizing the same facility and the same equipment. So it's a cost savings to communities. And we're also very proud of the fact that right now we have 2 regional college and career academies. Southeastern Technical College is formed, 4 counties came together, realizing the cost savings with Southeastern Technical College. And then the newest one that was granted is Heart of Georgia Regional Academy, where you have Dublin, Lawrence, Dodge, and Vidalia City, I believe, not Vidalia City, Lawrence County, Dodge, what's Dublin City is the other of the 4th school system. So it's a cost savings for communities to come together. But it all depends on what the needs of the communities are. It's not top down, very much bottom up.
Just one last comment is I don't understand why the Board of Education would be against this since it's not costing them anything. Not as far as I can tell.
I join you in that confusion, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Representative Breyer.
How about 24? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Senator, for bringing this piece of legislation. On the heels of what Representative Allison stated with the discretion of this being in the hands of the department, and I don't want to ask you to speculate, but do we know why there is now concern regarding this? Have you been told anything beyond there's just concern, or do we know? It seems like concessions have already been made.
Have absolutely no idea. No idea whatsoever. I'd love to hear from him, to be honest with you, Representative
Mr.
Harden.
Chairman, do we have anyone from the department?
We will get to it in just a moment.
Okay.
Any further questions?
I'm 24.
Thank you very much. This, just for point of clarification, this is related to technical schools and colleges, and if it is colleges, how does the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation program, how does it interact with this?
Well, I mean, it's technical colleges. It's with the Technical College System of Georgia. That's the idea, to work collaboratively with high schools and any other number. And I don't know the answer to your question about the Gates.
I can. Thank you. If you don't mind. Sure. At the local level, the partnership is whatever the community brings together. So there are University System of Georgia schools that are very much engaged. In Floyd County, Highlands College is engaged. In Rockdale County, Perimeter College is engaged. So there's very much a post-secondary, not just technical college, but this office is set up at the technical college. We do have some Gates Foundation money has come through to the early college program, which is a very similar program that's through the University System of Georgia, and that is targeted to those kids who are possible dropouts and will never go to college. And that is an excellent program that's doing wonderful things that includes dual enrollment. But this is a charter school that has to be open to anybody and everybody who chooses to go to that school.
Any other questions for Senator Butterworth? Senator, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I
Thank you.
appreciate the opportunity to be here before you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, any others who would like to come, please come and have a seat and identify yourself, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Tom Wilson, Director of Governmental Affairs for the Department of Education. Joining me is Audrey Bergeron. She is the State Director for our Career Technical and Agricultural Division at the DOE. We do have concerns with this bill, and if you'll just I beg your indulgence, I'll kind of outline some of our major concerns. We don't certainly disagree with career academies, but there's just some specifics that we are concerned about. Primarily, we believe this bill creates another level of bureaucracy and an expansion of state government by creating the Office of College and Career Transitions. We feel that authority rests with the state school superintendent over the Career Academy Initiative as we have it now. Career academies are a secondary school issue, 9th through 12th. We strongly support the Career Academy Initiative, and we appreciate the Lieutenant Governor's efforts to strengthen career and technical education in Georgia. We fully support him and his staff in that endeavor. We don't have a special office or a commission for English language learners in the state. We don't have a special office or commission for kindergarten, for special ed, for migrant ed, or for homeless education outside the Georgia Department of Education. The Career Academy Initiative is simply another program in the vast number of programs that come under the authority of the Georgia Department of Education. Students are duly enrolled in the career academies, just as other high school students are duly enrolled in Excel programs or other joint enrolled programs at a traditional high school. Career academies funding comes from FTEs that local systems generate or earn. In close, the Georgia Department of Education opposed to moving Senate Bill 161 forward as it is currently written. Placing into law this initiative would be simply creating more government, more bureaucracy, more regulations, and would be problematic for the students and the adults charged with administering and attending these programs. The Department of Education already has an Office of College and Career Transition, and that is in the Division of Career Technical and Agricultural Education, and the director, as I introduced a moment ago, Audrey Bergeron. We already have too many silos in Georgia when it comes to education of children, beginning in pre-K through post-secondary, whether they matriculate to a technical college or the university system. We believe that passage of this bill and creation of another department or commission or an office would simply add to those problems that we face. So we respectfully appreciate the board's time in hearing our concerns.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Representative Ash.
Thank you very much. I'm a little confused. That you're coming to us today. And my first question is, where have you been? My next question is, I thought we already had within the technical college system of Georgia a person who coordinates this role. And so when I asked the question this morning, are we creating more bureaucracy? The answer was a very clear no. This person is there doing this job right now. And instead of having it happen through y'all, it seems to me that the logical place for it to be is GTAE. And so, help me out.
I'll ask Audrey to respond to the yeah. Well, let me. I did express concerns to Senator Butterworth. I did express concerns and to Ms. Munn about some of the concerns. I expressed some concerns primarily at the Senate Committee of Higher Ed that these were high school students, and these are K-12 students, and K-12 students need to be under the guidance of the DOE, and that was our point at that time.
You and I might disagree about that, but
All right.
go ahead. Tell me about.
At the Career Academy.
Well, at the Career Academies, we do support those Career Academies. I'm all about career and technical education, but I know that Secretary Carter asked earlier about the graduation rate. All dual enrollment programs have a higher graduation rate because you cannot get into a dual enrollment program unless you're at the higher level of a student because you have to pass the college entrance exam. So while, yes, we can say that it's for all students, if I can't pass the college entrance exam to get into the technical college, I can't be in a dual enrolled course. So therefore, saying if I'm in there, I'm probably going to be one of those students that would have graduated with or without the dual enrollment course.
No, I'm really confused now, because when I remember these academies coming through originally, when the lieutenant governor was saying we need to do this because we need to find ways to keep kids interested in school, to keep them there, and that these career academies were not designed to take the cream off the crop. They were designed to save kids who didn't have another option. And I'm not sure that y'all aren't just being a silo and not willing to play with the other people in the field about this issue.
Okay, I'm not sure that was a question, but we'll move on.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Representative Dempsey, okay.
Yeah, I had a question about the FTE funding. You're saying that that fully funds a student in a college and career academy?
The funding is earned by the FTE that the student earns, and a lot of career academies, you know, they spend a part of their day at their home school and a part of the day at their career academy, and you know.
They're homeschooled?
No, not.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. Okay. They're public school, in other words, by where they go to school, whether it's Valdosta High or wherever, you know, and may go to an academy for part of the day.
But you're saying that it fully funds them, though, that FTE fully funds that student in your academy?
Yeah, the funding goes to where they are enrolled for those segments.
In other words, if they're in 2 courses at the high school, then the high school receives the FTE. But once they move into the dual enrollment course with the technical college, that FTE follows that student into that college course.
I don't think, I know I have a career and college academy, an excellent one in Floyd County, and the funding is certainly a challenge always, and it does not follow them completely at all. I mean, that's the greatest challenge that we have there. And it's also not our, I mean, I wonder if y'all could give us those statistics that show that, and also provide the information that you stated, I believe, about the very best students are there, that it's not the child who is maybe struggling, that we're trying to keep them engaged. I'd love to see your statistics, and really soon, because, you know, we're coming in on the end of this, and we need to see about moving this bill.
All right.
Can you get those
we'll get that for you.
Facts for us? Yeah.
Thank you. Representative Carter. Oh. Okay. Representative Harden.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for being here. Sir, you stated a while ago that you had expressed concern to Senator Butterworth, and obviously you heard Senator Butterworth's testimony that that he had addressed those concerns with 2 separate amendments, I believe, in the Senate committee. Is that not true? Were your concerns not taken care of in amendments on the Senate side?
Yeah, what the senator spoke is true. There's some changes. However, I approached him and it was before the committee meeting, and just said that we had some major issues, and with the bill, we've worked with them, the DOE, our policy had been working back and forth, trying to clean this thing up. But, you know, as we discussed with with Superintendent Barge and our staff, the bottom line, you know, our whole position is, you know, we don't, career academies are the numbers show we're adding numbers of career academies, we're adding students. We've got probably between, and I'm sure Ms. Munn could give the exact number, my estimate's between 10 and 16,000 career academy students. I assume that's correct, is that right? And to sum it up, our position, we don't need to create any commission, any agency to run this. I mean, we collaborate, as Representative Amerson said, with technical colleges around the state. It needs the total oversight and the working for the career academies needs to be in the area of career and technical and agricultural education. And that's just in
okay.
The best summary I can make, is our position.
Mr. Chairman, follow up? Mm-hmm. So what you're telling me is that, and just so I'm clear, but bottom line is there's nothing that Senator Butterworth or anyone else could do as far as amending this bill to make you comfortable with it unless it basically gutted the bill, negated the bill. Is that correct? I mean, you're not giving us any line item issues that you have. You just don't like the proposed policy.
Yeah, we just don't think that it's needed to enhance career academies around the state, and we've worked effectively with Lieutenant Governor's office and the technical colleges around the states. We've worked very, very diligently with the technical colleges on our articulation agreements, not for just career academies, for those kids that are at their resident school. And we just feel like, we just don't need a commission, or whether it's 1, 2, or whatever, to oversee this when we have the position at the DOE. These are career and technical classes, and just as they could take in a career academy or at a high school in the state, and a lot of kids do both.
Mr. Chairman, I think this is good policy. I think this is a good measure, and I don't know on this particular bill what the intent is, but if that need arises, I'd like to be recognized for a motion.
Thank you. Who do we have down here? Which number? Which number you got? Oh, here's one. Does that work?
27.
You got it.
I want to follow back up with Representative Dempsey's question and the FTEs. When you've currently got students that are dual enrolled, is the money split, or what happens?
No, it's not split.
And it goes to
The technical college.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that really what the fight's about here? Is some of the money?
No, because we don't. I mean, we support the career academies. That's not the issue. I mean, we've shown that we've worked with. We believe that the way by working through the DOE, we've ensured consistency and quality of the career academies, and we fully support that. That's not the issue. We want kids graduating. Obviously, we want to work with all, whether it's university system or technical colleges. We just do not believe oversight and guidance needs to be moved from where it is with the Career and Technical Division at the Department of Education.
One further comment, Mr. Chairman, if I could.
Yes.
I guess my question, when I look at my community, and we have a very large technical college, the Southern Crescent, formerly Griffin Tech, and we have a lot of kids, or I say kids, that end up not graduating, that end up coming back somehow, and their needs are fulfilled in a technical college where they're finally being able to get out there and learn a trade, go out and be productive citizens. And it seems to me that the delay in trying to get these kids or keep their interest in school so that they don't get out and waste 2 or 3 years, and in other words, they can get straight to it. It seems like this is what this bill is trying to do, instead of the current process where a lot of kids are getting out there and they're wasting 2 or 3 years. They're wasting time. They're wasting public tax dollars, instead of, hey, let's really concentrate on, you're never going to go, or a lot of the kids may never ever go to a 4-year university and get an accounting degree or a nursing degree or whatever. That's just not the way they're wired nor what their interests are. Why can't we get those? If this bill is doing what I think it's doing, it's saying, hey, let's go ahead and get you so you don't waste time, and let's get you on that track so that we can keep you fully involved, and you don't waste the taxpayers' time, you don't waste your time, you don't waste your community's time. Is that a fair assessment?
If I may respond, Representative Knight, many of our communities, many of our districts have these programs at the district level. They're just in a comprehensive high school. They are the same programs that you would find located in a career academy. It's just that in some areas within the state, we have designated those career academies so that the technical college and the career class or the career program at the high school can work right there together, and usually they're kind of side by side. But in a lot of our communities, they're not side by side, so we offer all of those programs in the high schools. And where, yes, we have had kids that have dropped out, but yes, we're strengthening those pathways. We're moving into all of those federal clusters at this point, really strengthening our programs so that everybody is following Georgia performance standards. They're getting what they need. We're turning on more kids in high school right now than we ever have, and it's because, a lot of times, because of the CTA programs in the high schools. So I'm certainly not objecting to any career academy. The district that I came from, when I came here, I had put a career academy within a school within a school. I'm not opposed to it. What we're opposed to is mainly the management. We need to be more in management of our high school kids and not turn over everything to the technical college. That helps.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I mean, I certainly have a great deal of sympathy for all the work that you've done and will continue to do with these students. But I'm remembering the governor's initiating speech where he talked about how important it was to lessen the population at the Department of Corrections. And I believe what we're all thinking about is how we catch these kids before they get into that system. And the way that you work in the Department of Education is one way, but it seems to me that it's simply not enough, and that kids plug in at different times and they relate to different school environments. And we know that some kids are not really plugging in very well to a traditional high school environment, and we need to do something for them to keep them on the path of learning a skill or getting into the educational process. So in some ways it does feel like a turf battle, and maybe the Department of Corrections ought to be part of this turf battle, or juvenile justice, but it's my belief that we need to begin finding as many alternative ways as we can to get these kids into some system that will help them succeed. So it's very hard for me to be protective of the Department of Education, which I applaud very much all the work that you are doing. But there are some of the kids that I hear about that simply don't work in that system very well, and we need an alternative for them. And if this one is working, we need to work on several different levels.
It's working now.
If I could respond, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, we certainly agree with you 100%, and this doesn't create any new programs. This just is about the oversight, in a nutshell, the oversight for the career academies. And as I stated earlier, we fully support the career academies. There are places where they're working. There are places in the state where comprehensive high schools, and by that I mean where all the CTAE programs are on the campus of the high school, that are working beautifully. I can take you to comprehensive high school that have the nicest labs that compare to any technical college. So we fully support choice. We fully support options. We fully support the bridge bill, a graduation plan for each student. There's legislation coming out that came out of the House that looks at our pathways. We fully support all that. This, in a nutshell, is we have career academies are part of our career and technical and agricultural education division, and we fully.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Chairman Amerson, did you have a question?
Questions and comments? Thank you, sir. I thought I had this thing under control, but I'm not sure after listening to Kathy and back down there. But if you bear with me a moment, my high schools don't call themselves career academies. They have some good labs, and classes are taught, a lot of times are taught after the regular school day is over, and they go through that. They have within the high school their own coordinator of the technical courses that are taught. And so I'm having a little difficulty understanding this, some aspects of it, particularly when you said you're taking the cream of the crop, because we ended up cutting our dropout rate, because people who drop out in the mountains generally drop out when they get to be about 16 years old, and they say it's time to go home, go to work, or do something else. And we've cut that tremendously by having the technical courses in our high schools. I'm sorry that the superintendent still insists on one diploma, even though he calls it dual track. The great majority of the people, as you know, don't go on to college. They really have no need of being a fully functional college track. They're more in tune with what the technical schools are teaching, and that's the reason we cut out the dropout rate. So anything we can do to continue that is what I'm for. And we don't call ourselves a career academy, but I guess we fit in there somewhere. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman Amerson. Representative Watson, did you have a question?
I did not.
Representative McBrayer, did you have a question? Okay. Representative Ash, I know you have a question.
I have a question about what is a career academy. I was a very slow convert to the concept of career academies. It took my constituent, Irene Munn, a very long time to convince me that we needed career academies. And I think we really need somebody to talk about what a career academy is, and as opposed to what's going on in the high school programs. And if I might ask you, Mr. Chairman, to ask my constituent, Ms. Munn, to give us a thumbnail sketch of what a career academy is and how it's a part of the quilt that blends all of these programs together, and why the logical place for the continuation of the coordination between all these levels is at DTAE and not at the Board of Education.
Thank you, Representative Ash. Ms. Nunn, Ms. Ash asked you to give a thumbnail sketch of that. If you could you do that?
Yes, sir, I can. And if I can also answer the question about the FTE funding and the dual enrollment funding too, to change, to fix some confusion here. But if you'll turn to page 2 of your bill, line 47, that is the definition of a college and career academy. Just very quickly, thumbnail. It is a charter school. And the reason why it needs to be a charter school, it has to establish a partnership between a secondary institution, a post-secondary institution, and the business community. It's just not the high school. It's just not the post-secondary. It's just not the business. It requires the community coming together and recognizing that partnership in a real way called a charter. The charter also provides for a great deal of flexibility to that school. They might need a really good instructor with 30 years of experience in automobile mechanics to come in and teach that class. They might need that instructor who is not a teacher certified instructor but knows what they're doing as it relates to education in the classroom. They might need seat time waivers. They might need block scheduling waivers. There's a number of waivers they need, which is why you need a charter school. The other thing that we're doing in this bill is taking the definition of college and career academy, and the reason why it's important to use the term college is because in order for us to have a viable workforce, 80% of our graduates must have some form of post-secondary education. So we've got to put everybody on the track of getting some form of post-secondary education. Our technical colleges do an excellent job of that, and so do our University System of Georgia graduate schools do. But that is very important for that post-secondary piece. To answer the question about the FTE and the dual enrollment, we, 2 years ago, through state board rule, changed it that if you have a dual enrolled student, your local school codes that as an M student. They only get $161 instead of the full funding. So your local schools are losing money when they have their students dually enrolled. The post-secondary gets their FTE at the post-secondary level, but the locals do not get that full funding. College and career academies help that dramatically because you're putting secondary and post-secondary together to figure out how they're going to pay for the best education they can get. These schools are different from what a comprehensive high school are. They are different from just a small school within a school. They are a unique environment that students can choose to go to and provide for that type of education that the community and the workforce development needs are asking for. We've gone from 4 years ago, today we have 23 colleges and career academies. We are not taking any authority away from the Department of Education and the State Board of Education to the approval of charters. They maintain that solely. All we're doing is taking the office that exists today at the Technical College System of Georgia, formalizing it by calling it the Office of College and Career Transitions, and allowing them to continue to give out grant dollars that you guys appropriate in the budget. You've done it for 4 years, $54 million. The House approved $10 million in this budget. If the Senate maintains it, which I'm betting they will, there'll be $10 million more to be appropriated out in grants to those communities who choose to come together and ask for a college and career academy to be built. It changes nothing as it relates to the charter approval process. And the one other thing that we're doing is a certification process. We are asking the technical college to work with the Department of Education to come up with a voluntary certification so that that school, if they choose to be certified, they can take that certification and go over and get their charter renewed. So we are getting the three silos at the top to work together to support our local schools and our local communities.
Thank you.
That was thumbnail.
You've given new meaning to the word thumbnail. Yes, thank you. Representative Dempsey.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure the technical college system is in full support of this, right?
I'm pretty sure they're hearing yes, they are. Yes, I'm sorry again. I told the technical college, but we absolutely support this legislation.
So right now, if I understand it, only the Department of Education is not happy with this situation. And we're talking about sort of an apple and orange situation here where we're talking about career and technical, career and college academies, other way around, I know, college and career academies, and you were talking about comprehensive high schools or the technical education within your schools, not the total. I mean, we're talking about two different things here. Y'all have oversight over one right now, and you want oversight over all, excluding the technical college system?
No. The career academies or the college and career whatever term, they're under the umbrella of the DOE now. And we're in our position is that they have expanded in the state, and we've been supportive of them, And we just feel like this is really this is not needed to keep that process moving forward. The point I was making about a comprehensive high school, that there's courses that students are taking at a comprehensive high school that could be the same course. They're having articulated or dual enrollment. I mean, those, I think Representative Amerson mentioned that. Those are going on at comprehensive high schools. They're going on at school within a school concepts. There are various models around the state that are working effectively. Unfortunately, some aren't working as effectively, and we know that. So, again, we don't not support career academies. We don't support these programs of dual enrollment. We want that. We work hard to promote those. We just don't see any necessary to create any kind of put all this in a law that we're doing it now, and it's working effectively. If you look at the numbers and the growth and the increase in academies around the state.
We're going to have a few more questions. If you can make your questions, we don't want to ignore anybody, but please make them succinct and direct and not revisit what we've already done here today. Representative Carter?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I wanted to ask a question to Mrs. Munn, if you don't mind. The Office of College and Career Transitions, that's the one that I am struggling with. You say there's already someone in place there. Where is that person housed?
The individual that works at the Technical College System of Georgia, their main office is up off of Shinley Tucker, is the one that manages manages the grants that the state has appropriated over the last 4 years. So that individual is the one that oversees the 23 academies that have received grant dollars. They're bond dollars. So there is a great deal of, you can imagine, oversight to make sure that those bond dollars are spent appropriately. So that is the person that will continue this work. Over the last 4 years, we've realized that there's more that this office can be doing in supporting local schools that decide they want to build or develop a college and career academy through whether it's professional development, technical support, or all the other things you can imagine that go along with that. And that individual will continue to do that. That person is there. I believe her title right now is called Director of Partnerships. And that there's money in the base budget for technical college, and there's no change whatsoever as it relates to that.
But in doing that, do you foresee maybe next year adding another person to this office, and 3 years from now there'll be 5 people working within this Office of College and Career Transitions, and then 10 years having 18 people working in that office? I mean, I see the point of more bureaucracy by creating another office of something. And so I'm trying to foresee the future of what this office is going to look like, where we see one person today and 22 of them 10 years from now, kind of thing. I mean, what do you see in this office?
Well, I would suggest that if right now we have 23 schools that need support as it relates to their college and career academy, if that grew to 100 schools that needed support, one person might not be able to do that. And obviously, through General Assembly appropriations, the technical college would be coming to ask for more. And if the General Assembly saw fit, because we are getting data that demonstrates that this idea or this concept is really working for our students, then I would suggest that you might be funding more people at the technical college to support college and career academies. If they're not doing a good job and they can't demonstrate to you that they need more staff, then I would suggest that the General Assembly would not fund those.
Representative Long. Okay. Are you 27? Okay.
One follow-up question. I want to make sure I've got this right on the FTEs. When we got our dual enroll program, you're saying the money goes to the technical college, with the exception of $160-something per, I guess, class, maybe? But that's the state portion, right?
Correct.
I'm sorry? Yeah, so any local tax dollars that are raised that goes to that student does stay with the local school system, right?
Yeah, that'd be, correct unless there was a local school system that wanted to pass money along, but that's very rare. But you're correct.
Okay.
Thank you, Representative Knight. Representative Harden. No? Thank you, Mr. Wilson and Ms. Bargeron. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, can I perhaps make a couple of rebuttal comments?
Yes, Senator, come up here. Yeah.
I took a lot of notes, but I think in my rebuttal I might not necessarily address the notes unless they're specifically directed at me. There was no major concern indicated to me. I had a conversation with Mr. Wilson 2 minutes before the meeting started. I addressed those concerns as far as I understood them, and as I indicated to you before, I have not heard any concerns since that time. What I would say to the committee as a whole, and to you, Mr. Chairman, that I apologize for putting you in this situation. We all understand that as we work as legislators, we do our best to communicate. I've done my absolute best. Apparently, I haven't done well enough, and I'll take the responsibility for that. So I do appreciate all of your time. I would look forward to, and I say this to all of you, but also to the Department of Education, I look forward to conversations that we can address these issues. Because while they have indicated to all of you that they don't wish for this legislation to move forward, I don't have any idea what their alternative is. And there are a lot of children, a lot of young adults that need some help. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Committee.
Thank you, Senator. Is there anyone else who would like to speak to this bill that's in our audience? Hearing none, thank you. And thank you, Senator Butterworth, for coming, and others for coming. We appreciate your presence here today. This meeting of the House Higher Education Committee is now adjourned. Thank you.